guys, I have some exciting news, at least for me. I finally got my Jeep back. So maybe you're wondering what happened to me, where I've been, why I haven't been posting. A whole bunch of stuff went down. Obviously, one of them was my Jeep died. Had a major catastrophic transmission failure, and couldn't get it into the shop, and there's nothing I can do about it myself at home. So by the time I could get it into the shop, and then they basically said it was going to cost like $4,700 to $6,700 to get it fixed, depending on what they find, and I just didn't want to pay that, so I take it to a different shop. They ordered a different transmission in, so whole ordeal. But long story short, it's got a rebuilt transmission in it. I paid like $4,300 to get that put in. I had to get the AC condenser replaced as well, AC system recharged, the transmission cooler lines flushed. So it was a whole ordeal, but I finally feel at home. I've been borrowing trucks for like 5 months, ever since hunting season. So I shot my mule deer buck. You see that one of the last videos I posted, and then like a week after that, this thing just died. So it's been having a bunch of issues, and you know, maybe some people would say I should have just called it quits on it and tried something different, but I really like it. I really like it, and for me, it's really the best vehicle for what I do. And let me show you why. Got to clean the lens a little bit first. Keep the SawtoothWild hoodie right there. I just got this made, so had to try a different brand first, and I didn't like it, and then went with this one. But super cool. Got that done for myself. Got a new Hushin hat, of course. But let me show you what I love about this Jeep. Now, personally, for what I do, for exploring the mountains, for doing a whole bunch of work here on the ranch and building stuff, and I got my property here that I'm trying to work on, trying to get a whole bunch of fencing done, trying to get water and power, and just a whole bunch of building, and I got livestock and all of my outdoor hobbies. So for me, this is just perfect. Haven't really introduced the Jeep yet, but I figured I probably should, since I will hopefully have it for a long time. I just got that rebuilt transmission put in here, and so hopefully this thing runs me another 5-10 years. Engine's getting old, and I might have to replace that soon too, but for now it is what it is. Let me go into details what I got going on here. So first off, some pretty good all-terrain tires. These are the Cooper Discoverer ST Max. Love these tires. They're one of the best tires I've ever used. I already put 50,000 miles on these, and they still look like they got probably another 20 to 30 more to go, I'd say. I got them siped, so I did pay for this aftermarket siping. This was like $80 total to do all four, and I would definitely attribute this to my better traction on ice and slick roads in the wintertime. You can't really tell, but they basically cut tons of little micro slots in these. These are like all-terrain tires, so they're more like for like gravel and dirty roads, and like not so much mud, but you can go mudding, I guess. They could also get studded, so there's little holes here for studs. I didn't get these studded because you can't use studs in Montana here year long, and so I just wanted to run something all year long without having to mount and dismount. Just did all of my brakes, so I got I didn't pay for Mopar stuff, but I just got like Napa rotors, and I had just some Rock Auto calipers on there and Napa pads. Of course, the super tactical, super this is like adds like 5 horsepower right here. The stickers, and this one adds like 7 horsepower, I think, just because it like helps the wind kind of hit it and deflect it, and it actually brings the whole front end up a little bit. So lots of horsepowerage right there. The super tactical paint peeling, that's a feature that's attributed to Jeep. It's just something they come with. Had to cut the antenna down, so I kept going into car washes and dang thing would get ripped off. So I had this thing break, I had this all break, and so when I paid $12 for this little plastic piece, I never wanted to do that again. And so I just cut the antenna off right here. Most of the time I don't listen to the radio anyways, but if I do, it still picks it up well enough. You know, if I'm in town, I'm listening to the radio, it still picks it up well enough. If I'm out of town, then I'm going hunting and I don't need the radio. Obviously the roof rack, this came with the Jeep when I bought it. It's freaking perfect. I put like pallets on there if I'm taking something home. I've put like ratchet straps. I've taken stuff along the ranch, around the ranch, cinder blocks, just random pieces of wood and trash and water pump and a whole bunch of other stuff. I could throw it up there. Pickup bed would be great, but I actually prefer this closed body a lot better. So having this whole thing, you know, SUV body style type enclosed, I can keep a whole bunch of stuff here and not have to worry about it getting stolen or wet or lost or blown away or anything like that. So let me show you, obviously, the stickers. You guys have seen all these. They're all, this is peeling. But let me show you what I kind of keep here. I just cleaned this whole thing up really well. Oh, and of course the bucket fell. This is all my hunting stuff that I keep, not year round. I keep this stuff in here like during hunting season. So I got crampons and extra garbage bags and stuff. It's just my bucket of hunting stuff that I keep in the vehicle. I did make a video on that. It's pretty much the same thing, except now I got a Vortex bucket instead of a DeWalt bucket. But that stays in here if I'm hunting basically all season long. And also a lot of that stuff is good for if I'm going fishing, if I'm going like camping, like crampons, fire starter, garbage bags. I mean, that's just like generic stuff. 5 gallons of gas. I have used this so many times. I'm the type of person that runs this thing till the light turns on every single week. This thing goes through about a full tank once a week. Just maybe even more, just for work. And I just hate stopping for gas every other day. So I've had to use that numerous times, and I've had to use that in the mountains numerous times. But that will give me like, you know, I have a 17-gallon tank. That's 5 gallons right there. So I could get like another, 50 miles probably out of this. So really handy to have. And I just keep that in my car year round. If the gas gets good in here, you don't have to worry about the smell. I've been doing this for years, and sometimes this gasket does break. You could smell it right away if that gasket is bad. If it's not bad, you don't have to worry about it. In the summertime, this thing turns into a balloon. It literally opens up so big that you think it's going to burst. I've never had one of these just burst, but I also keep an eye on it and make sure that all the seams and stuff is good and clean. A little bit of leak in here. I just filled it up, so it's probably still not evaporated yet. All right, what else do I keep in here? Snow brushes. It's about time to get rid of these. I just didn't have anywhere else to put them. So extra coolant. This is a mix that I mix myself. Comes concentrated, I mix it. Extra power steering fluid, bar and chain oil, ATF plus 4, extra brake fluid, and de-icer. Never actually used this de-icer. Can't say if it's good or not. In this, I don't have a saw with me right now, but it just stays in here, keeps everything a little bit tighter. All right, next up, this is kind of a generic little survival kit. There's extra clothing in here, hatchet, fire starters, things like that, extra food, MRE. Here's all the roadside assistance type stuff, funnel, tools, air compressor, tow strap, things like that, and then a little camping chair, so if you're camping or fishing, you got somewhere to sit. But that's not everything about this. So what do I like about this? Well, for one thing, I got all that and that stays in here. I don't have to worry about it getting blown away, getting lost, you know, jumping out of the truck or something. If I hit a bump, that all stays in here, and I don't have to make sure like I keep everything like clean, because if this gets dirty, I don't know, it might not come out very well. You don't want this exposed to moisture at all, things like that. So I like having it enclosed because I could just stuff everything in there, all my hunting stuff and fishing stuff, and could leave it there overnight or whatever and not worry about it. So in here, currently have my hunting pack. It's all ready to go. Have my rifle in the case. That's all ready to go for bear season, which is already going on right now. These seats can actually fold down. So I got some hunting pants and stuff, but all these 3 seats right here fold down, and you can lay on this, and it's perfectly long enough for like 2 people to camp, you know, put 2 sleeping bags and sleep there. Can't do that on a pickup truck very easily, and if you can, it's probably really dirty, messy, you don't have a cover. So if you put a canopy on top of it, well, at that point you're just a complicated SUV. It's really clean in here right now. I spent a lot of time cleaning it, but this is stuff I got to put back into all of its rightful places. You know, I got stuff going in here, stuff in there. So currently that's just a catch-all power bank that goes in my hunting pack. But most important thing, this thing is all-wheel drive, Quadra Drive 2. So personally, I think all-wheel drive is essential for people like me. If you do what I do, all-wheel drive is absolutely essential. So here's the problem. I've been borrowing trucks for a couple of months now, and they've got the all-wheel drive, they got the 4-wheel drive that you turn on automatic, oh my gosh, they've got the 4-wheel drive that you turn on manually, and you can do that while you're driving. Now, for what I do here in the mountains, especially in Montana, when you're hitting like snow and ice patches, mud holes, dirt and gravel, grass, like you gotta have some kind of 4-wheel driving. The problem is that I've run into with like a 4-wheel drive instead of an all-wheel drive is like here in Montana in the springtime, in the fall, even wintertime, like when it gets above freezing a little bit, everything in the sun starts melting and it's really wet and or slushy, and sometimes it's dry. If they put the mag chloride down, they dry it up pretty fast. But then everything that's in the shade, which is generally a lot because the sun is so low, everything in the shade is still really hard packed snow and ice, or like glare black ice. And so if you're driving 60 miles an hour because it's dry and you make a turn behind a mountain or behind a tree or something, you're going to hit that patch of ice and you're immediately going to lose control. I can't tell you how many times that's happened. You just lose control for a couple seconds till you hit that dry patch again, and then you're solid. But why even bother? Like, you can't turn on your 4-wheel drive fast enough to prepare for that, and then you'd have to turn it off, you know, immediately after that if you're still on the turn and you're doing your turn and you're on the dry part now. So now you're putting wear on your differentials turning without a slick surface underneath your tires. So it's a huge pain in the butt. Like, I found you're driving into town and things are more or less dry. You stop at the light and that's where it's actually a little bit glare icy still, and then you can't take off on the light. So you have to put it in a 4-wheel drive just to get going off the light, and then put it back into 2-wheel drive once you start gaining speed. It's a huge annoyance, pain in the butt. And then if you're turning into a parking lot, like the freeway will be nice and dry, and then you turn into that middle turning lane, and then you just hit that ice or that slush, and you completely lose control for a second. And so it's kind of a pain in the butt. So I'd rather have the all-wheel drive. Obviously having a vehicle that's got the automatic 4-wheel drive is pretty handy if it puts it in 4-wheel drive for you, if it senses you're slipping or whatever. But that also could be a second or two late. And why bother if you can just get an all-wheel drive? So this is one of the few vehicles that I could find that's all-wheel drive, that's got everything I need. This thing has a 7,200 pound towing capacity. So I'm not really towing stuff with it, but I can. And I know that I can overload this thing pretty heavily and you know, be fine and be safe and not really cause a lot of damage. Like I got the ball on there right now, in case I do need to go get a trailer, and I have towed stuff with it. Just working on the ranch and I got to get things moving. Got to go pick something up or whatever. So having that 7,200 pound towing capacity is super handy. This is a 5.7 Hemi engine. And with that new transmission, it could probably do quite a bit. Try to find another vehicle other than an EV truck that's got all-wheel drive and 7,200 pound towing capacity. Even full-size trucks, some trucks don't even have that high of a towing capacity, and they're not all-wheel drive. So for me, it's just an absolute no-brainer. So I put a whole bunch of money into getting this thing running again. I love it. It's 18 years old, but it works for me. So let's show you under the hood. I just cleaned it up, so really wanted to show off this beautiful engine bay right here. This battery, I think, is dying. It sat on the on the parking spot for so long without getting charged, so this battery isn't doing too good. Might have to replace that, but that's a Duracell. Looks like 790 cold cranking amps at 0 degrees Fahrenheit. 5.7 liter V8. Coolant's doing good. It's got a cold air intake. This is the Airade brand, aftermarket edition. It's also got the MagnaFlow exhaust, and I bought it with the intake and exhaust like that. Power steering goes in here. That's taking that super special hydraulic power steering. So this thing actually has a hydraulic radiator fan. So radiator fan's in here. This is the power steering pump. And oddly enough, it actually goes to the radiator fan through one of these hoses. I don't remember which one. It's been a while since I worked on this, but basically uses hydraulic pressure to spin that fan. And so the faster that pump is running, generally the faster that fan is spinning. But it does have a valve that it can open it up, and it can spin it pretty fast when you're not even driving, if you're just idling or whatever. So they just put a brand new AC condenser in here for me. Of course, it won't focus on that. Well, somewhere back in there. There it is. Still got the stock headlights and stuff, but pretty good ground clearance, at least for what I do. I did get the as big of a tire as I can fit, and of course I rub here, but it's got an aftermarket lift. I think it's like 2 or 3 inches even. I don't know. It's a pretty good size. Pretty good size lift. This is the Limited. Of course, I got casualties. The fender liner in here is broken. Got some damage here to the paint. The Bondo kind of flaked off there. Taillights are falling apart, but man, this thing is awesome. Absolutely love it. Let's start this engine. I'll set the camera up right here so you can hear the engine start. All right, turn the microphone over. So yeah, pretty healthy sounding engine, if I do say so myself. Sounds really good, really healthy. Did a whole bunch of work to the engine so far. I replaced the power steering pump, replaced the water pump, replaced the tensioner, replaced the belt, replaced the alternator, obviously new battery, new radiator, new AC condenser. It's got the updated air intake and new brakes, new headlights. I mean, I don't even know, everything on here is pretty much new. So hopefully this thing runs a long time. I've been doing oil changes on this about every 7,000. Full synthetic, do oil and oil filters at the same time. I do that myself. It cost me like $12 for an oil filter, and then like $30 for 5-6 quarts of oil. 35, just depending on where I go, but not bad. $45 or $50 or whatever for an oil change to do it myself with full synthetic is pretty good. You'll be paying like almost $100 at some places to do synthetic blends. So yeah, that's the Jeep. That's my mountain rig. Personally, I feel like every guy, girl that's doing what I do for fun should probably have one of these, honestly, especially all-wheel drive. Something with the lift, some grippy tires, a good healthy engine that could pull a lot, and a good frame that can handle a lot of weight. And then on top of that, I really do like the enclosed SUV body, because you can, for one, sleep in there without having to, carry any kind of hatch with you, or cover or canopy or anything like that, tent. And then when you're not sleeping in there, all your stuff is in there protected, safe, not getting stolen, not getting wet, not getting grabbed by a bear and taken into the woods somewhere or whatever. So that's that. If you guys have any questions, I am hoping that somebody from Jeep, Dodge, Chrysler sees this video and decides to make a whole bunch more of these at an affordable price, with all the features I just mentioned, and not like all the bells and whistles that make it over $100,000 and the average person can't afford it, and the people that can don't use it for what it's made for. So I hope that they actually start making some more of these. Reason that the Wrangler isn't good, well, you don't have the space, and the ones I've seen weren't all-wheel drive, so not gonna work for me. Some of the other ones, like the Grand Cherokee, the regular Cherokee, the Compass, the Patriot, all those, they just don't have that towing capacity and that strong of a frame and that strong of axles. And even the guy I had put the transmission in said this thing's got like bigger axles than the Dodge Ram 1500 pickup, something like that. I don't remember the exact thing he said, but yeah, all in all, this thing's got a couple of issues here and there, like any old 18-year-old vehicle would, but hopefully this thing runs me a long time. And if you guys have any questions or comments, concerns, ideas, let me know. I read everything. I write back to most everything. And I really appreciate all the feedback, all of the traffic on the channel. It's growing steady. I really enjoy making these videos, and I enjoy having fun with you guys and talking to my online family. So thanks guys for watching. I appreciate everything. I'll see you next time.